The adorable Jufufu is finally here in Zenless Zone Zero's 2.0 patch. In this video today, we're going to discuss everything about Jufufu, her kit, her team synergies, Mindscapes, best builds, how to use her the right way, and way more. Sit back, relax, and let's dive in. As a reminder, all of the content in this video is from the creator beta server of Zenless Zone Zero. As such, results, information, and values may slightly change for her full release in just a few days. Thank you very much to Hoyoverse for granting early access, and let's talk about the adorable Tiger Thyran Jufufu. Jufufu is our upcoming S-rank fire stun agent from Yunquei Summit. She is an entirely off-field, automatic stun agent who provides a plethora of buffs to the team. Plus, she's one of the most universal units in the entire game, and we can directly talk about her meta value in just a little bit. Our adorable Tiger Thyran is the easiest character to play in the game as well. She has three important core mechanics. First is her resources, might and momentum. You see this little bar under her character profile picture? This is the might meter, and it's her main resource that we have to worry about. When Jufufu is off-field, her weapon called Hu Wei will remain on the field attacking enemies automatically. Every time Hu Wei hits an enemy, it will restore some of this meter. This is all indicated from this little basic attack blurb. Jufufu will also recover might at a much higher interval with her ultimate and EX special when you have them. The cool thing about this might is that you don't even necessarily need to worry about using it. Since Jufufu is an off-field stunner, she will automatically gain a new chain attack that will spend this might when it's sufficient, at least 100, which is half of this bar. This leads us to the second important concept of her kit, because chain attack will unleash Tiger's Roar buff to all squad members. When you enter the Tiger's Roar state, the entire squad gains huge crit damage buffs, with their chain attack and ultimates also dealing increased damage. Plus, the value of these increases goes way up depending on how much attack you have for Jufufu, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. This entire state will last for 30 seconds, plus Jufufu's impact will be greatly increased as well. The other main resource that Jufufu uses is called Momentum, and you'll gain it after using Assist Follow-Up, EX Special Attack, or Ultimate. Think of this Momentum as a special resource that will accumulate through those certain skills, gaining her more might, which means you can enter that Tiger Roar state faster. Momentum is actually indicated by this little buff under her energy meter. The third concept to discuss for Jufufu is the spinning state. After using Jufufu's dash attack, all you gotta do is hold down the basic button to enter this adorable spinning state. Think of this spinning as just a way to consume one momentum to restore more might. And that one momentum cost will also convert physical damage to fire damage for this move. Like stated earlier, Jufufu is entirely automatic and does all of this for free off the field, so you don't even necessarily need to worry about any uptime with her resources. Indeed, this is the core combat loop for our adorable Tiger Thyran. She will accumulate her resources automatically when Hu Wei attacks the enemy while your main DPS is doing their thing. The only thing you manually need to do on Jufufu is use her EX Special and Ultimate when they pop. This kit breakdown portion of the video is going to be very quick as it's all automatic and most of it you won't ever use, but we'll review the moves anyway. Basic attack Tiger 7 forms Flaming Claw can slash forward up to 4 times, dealing a mix of physical and fire damage. After the third hit, you have a couple of options. If you hold or pause just slightly before pressing the basic attack button, it will go into that automatic fourth hit. But if you repeatedly press the basic attack button, you'll keep striking the enemy in this forward striking bunch of slashes that she does. That's super adorable. Basic attack Hu Wei talks about that automatic fire damage from her little friend here. It also tells us that we gain 20 points of might each time it hits an enemy, and the maximum might is 200, with the line in the middle indicating the halfway point, or 100. Special attack Tiger 7 forms Mountain Descending Tiger, also doesn't get a lot of use like this basic attack, but it will perform a spinning slash followed by a falling slash, all dealing fire damage. On the other hand, EX Special attack Tiger 7 forms Alt Mountain Descending Savage Tiger, try saying that 5 times fast, does get used whenever you can. When you activate it, you'll gain 3 points of momentum and 80 points of might, and Jufufu will take Hue and smack him down onto the enemy, dealing massive fire damage. All of Jufufu's dodges and assists are pretty normal, other than her assist follow-up giving her 1 point of momentum once every 10 seconds, and we already mentioned the spinning state with her dash attack, or fiery spin when you have momentum. We can also make a note about her chain attacks, even though they are automatic. Chain attack Tiger Cauldron Collapse is just a normal one. However, this does lead into the second chain attack that we talked about, suppressing Tiger Cauldron, which will automatically activate after having at least 100 points of might and triggering the first chain attack. This will consume the 100 might, open Hue and fire flames and popcorn at the enemy, dealing fire damage. If you have momentum and Jufufu is not the active character, she will automatically enter the fiery spinning state after the skill ends. The last thing to note is that this chain attack counts as an aftershock, which will have some pretty interesting implications for an aftershock team or perhaps in Hollow Zero. If you've seen my videos before, you know what I always say about the ultimates. When your decibel rating is at 3,000... Wait a minute, that's not quite right for Jufufu. Because of her additional ability, I actually have to switch it up just a little bit. When your decibel rating is at 3,000 or higher, press Q to activate Ultimate Tiger 7 Forms Raging Tiger Explosion. You'll activate one of the cutest animations in the entire game where she'll ride around on Hue and smack him down onto the enemy, dealing fire damage. And the only thing to note here is that you'll gain 6 points of momentum and 100 points of might. As for her core passives, Ferocious Might is the one where all of the buffs seem to come into play. This first part just recaps what we talked about with chain attack suppressing Tiger Cauldron and Hue. When you activate that suppressing Tiger Cauldron, all squad members will enter Tiger's Roar effect, and crit damage will increase by 20%. The rest of this just talks about the added bonus depending on how much attack you have for Jufufu. In order to get the maximum additional increase of 30%, you will need 3,400 attack with our quick math ability. While in the Tiger's Roar state, character chain attack damage will increase by 20% and ultimate damage by 40%, and it will last 30 seconds. Jufufu will also get a personal buff of an impact increase of 50, which is pretty dang good. Additional ability Aura of Authority activates when either an attack or rupture character is on the team, so pretty much anybody you would pair her with anyway. Each character in your squad will get an increase of 1,000 total maximum decibels you can have, bringing it from 3,000 to 4,000. And when either an attack or rupture character uses an ultimate, that character will gain 300 decibels instantly. But some of you may have an interesting question right about now. Mogul, how does that interact with Yi Xuan's dual ultimates? Well, Jufufu is already going to be Yi Xuan's best partner, but this does in fact count for both of her ultimates. This is just one of the ways that she's the best partner for her. As for other partners and the team synergy section, we've already really discussed this in a separate video here, but we'll recap really quickly. Because of Jufufu's additional ability and wide-ranging buffs, she can work with every attack and rupture agent in the entire game. Simply, if you name a DPS, there is a way that you can use Jufufu in that team and it will be very, very strong. Her best team will of course be Yi Xuan, herself, and Pan Yinghu, not only because Yi Xuan wants to be on the field the most amount of time, but both hers and Pan Yinghu's buffs are incredible for Yi Xuan. My favorite Jufufu team was Hugo, Vlad, Lighter, and Jufufu. And if you don't have Lighter, you can always sub in Von Lycone. And for those of you Mockingbird enthusiasts, this also does really well with Hugo's Mindscape 2, which actually is a pretty great improvement. The only thing to note is that if Lighter's on the team, you'll be spending a lot more on-field time with Hugo Vlad racking up damage, and if Von Lycone is on the team, then you can spend more time with him as an on-field stunner. Past this, it's just simply flexing your DPS and support roles. Evelyn Astriao Jufufu worked really well, Ellen Astriao Jufufu worked really well, I used a free-to-play team of Harumasa, Anbi and Jufufu, and the list goes on and on. Basically, the bottom line is if you can dream of an attack-focused team, Jufufu can be in it. This has insanely strong meta and free-to-play implications as well. If you are a free-to-play or newer player to Zenless Zone Zero, you might not ever have a better option than Jufufu to pull for your account. Not only is she extremely easy to use because she's almost entirely automatic, but she suffers from that disease that I would call Astriao-itis, which is just the ability to go with so many agents. Meta-wise, it's important to note that you don't even need to use her on the fire team, so she's not limited to fire weak content. Although the most important note about her meta value is that she's the most incredibly adorable character in the entire game, although she might get a little sad if you say that to her like we saw in the character demo. Moving on, it's time for her best build breakdown, which is also very easy. For W engines, the best in slot will be the signature made for her, Roaring Furnace. The first thing to note is that the additional stat is attack, which she needs 3400 of. And this has awesome build implications because you can change up your disk drives. This will increase her days from her chain attack, EX special attack, and ultimate by 28%. When she uses a chain attack or ultimate to deal fire damage, all damage dealt by squad members increases by 10%, stacking up to 2 times and lasting 30 seconds, with each stack calculated separately. And it'll only trigger once per use of a skill. This is where it gets interesting because you could make a case for either having Mindscape 1 or this W engine being more important than the other. From a best build perspective, if you go with the W engine, you have a lot more options, especially on disk drive number 6. Namely, it just means that you can switch to Impact on slot 6. However, if you go with the Mindscape 1, you'll have a lot better support capability. So the choice is really up to you on that. Past her signature W engine, there's actually still a lot of strong options for her. The second best option is Kaleda's exclusive W engine, Hellfire Gears, especially because Jufufu wants those energy regen and she's off the field for extended periods of time. Past this, I would actually recommend the rare choice of 6 Shooter, and I don't tend to use that too much on stun units. If you don't have any of these 3, you can technically get away with using Steam Oven, but past this, I would actually recommend using an attack main stat engine. The main focus there is to just make sure you're hitting that 3400 attack threshold. As for our disk drives, her best in slot 4 piece is the brand new set and should be the only one being used on her, King of the Summit. You'll get that 6% days increase of all attacks, and when you use an EX special or chain attack, all squad member crit damage increases by 15%, and it'll be further increased by 15% more crit damage if the equipper's crit rate is 50% or higher, aka a 30% crit damage increase when using EX special attack or chain attack, lasting 15 seconds. As for 2 pieces, there's a bunch of different options you can use, especially if you have her W engine. Make sure you start off by using Hormone Punk for the attack percent boost to get to that 3400 mark. Once you have this, you can also play around with using Swing Jazz for the energy regen or Shockstar Disco for the impact. Just prioritize reaching that 3400 number first. After that, you can start worrying about getting more impact. The other important note is that you'll need that 50% crit rate to maximize King of the Summit. As for her main stats, slot 4 should be either attack percent optimally, or if you have enough you can swap to crit rate or crit damage. Slot 5 should only be attack percent, and slot 6 should start off as attack percent, and if you have enough you can swap to impact. Substats follow the general same rule we just talked about, with attack percent being by far the best, then crit rate, then crit damage, and then the rest. As for our cute little Hopper friends, the Bang Boos, Bellion will be the best option for her, especially in the Yi Xuan team. You can also use Butler, or just simply match your Bang Boo to your main DPS type. For those of you who want an even more adorable Jufufu like myself, let's talk about her Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 is an awesome support capability and huge quality of life increase by giving her 12% crit rate upon entering combat, as well as 100 might. Plus, when Jufufu's chain attack hits an enemy and the target is stunned, their stun damage multiplier will increase by 35% for 30 seconds. This is a pretty significant damage boost, especially for those big burst windows that a lot of DPS like. Mindscape 2 is a big 22% additional crit damage increase for the characters in the Tiger Roar state, and when anyone activates an ultimate, Jufufu will gain 3 points of momentum. Mindscape 4 is a 35% crit damage increase for specifically Jufufu while in the Tiger's Roar state, while Mindscape 6 increases Jufufu's chain attack damage by 30% automatically, and when you consume momentum in that spinning state, you'll fire 3 popcorns dealing 160% of Jufufu's attack as damage, which will also be counted as chain attack damage. So just think of this as a sizable DPS boost for our adorable Tiger Thyron. And there you have it for the absolutely undeniably ferocious Jufufu. Let me know what you think about her and how many copies you're gonna pull in the comments below. Also feel free to say RIP Mogul's wallet, because I'm gonna try to spend all of my hard-earned polychromes on this adorable tiger tyrant. If this Jufufu guide helped in any way, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for even more Zenless Zone Zero. And in the meantime, as usual, thank you all so very much for watching. Bye for now.